Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to my Survivor Series review for last night's Survivor Series. Yeah, I didn't do a review last night because one, I had to finish up my mom's homework, or not finish it up, but help her finish up the typing portion of it. She writes it, I type it. So I had to finish that up, and boy, it was a lot to do. But I didn't mind it at all, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool of me. But I did take a break for a couple of hours to watch Survivor Series. And I made basically the decision that, you know what, unless it has my interest, unless one of the minor pay-per-views, the B level pay-per-views, if you will, can grab my interest, I'll just load it after it airs, a few hours after it airs. And instead just focus on getting the major four pay-per-views. In other words, Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania, and SummerSlam. Again, unless it piques my interest. But now, speaking of Survivor Series, I know a lot of people feel that it really didn't live up to its hype last night the way it should have. It didn't live up to its hype because, one, hold on a second, let me check the time here. Yeah, I only have a 15-minute time limit right now because of certain reasons. But anyway, some feel it wasn't really, okay, let me explain. People basically felt that it wasn't going to live up to its hype because it wasn't built properly. I mean, basically you had about 4 to 3 weeks in between it and Hell in a Cell. So it really wasn't built properly. So, how do you fix this? Well, apparently how they fixed it was, one, they basically kind of right off the bat created a Survivor Series match. Then the next week switched it about, kind of turned it upside down, and went from there. That's basically how they fixed it. Yeah, it's true. That's basically how they fixed it. But, even though it didn't have much build and momentum going into it, it's kind of one of those events that when you peel back the layers of it, you kind of peel back its layers, you start seeing some crystal behind it, some real gems hidden in between. And that's kind of what this was. It was like, it was basically buried under a lot of, it was basically buried under a lot of unmomentous hype and built towards it. But as soon as you watched it, you started to dig, as you were watching it, you were basically digging your way through that burial, through the dirt, and you started to find some real gems in between. For example, we actually got ourselves a bonus Survivor Series match. Yeah, we did. You see, obviously somebody in backstage realized, you know what? We can't do Survivor Series with just one Survivor Series match. It doesn't make sense. And also, the one thing I've noticed about WWE when it comes to the pay-per-views is they always want to have an even amount of matches. That's right, an even amount of matches. So in other words, they want to make sure they have either 6 to 8 to maybe 10, if not at the most 12 matches on the card. And that's exactly what happened here. See, originally, the pre-show match was supposed to be International Airstrike, Gabriel and Kidd against 3MB, Slater and Mahal with McIntyre in the corner. That was changed a bit. As we found out, instead of being International Airstrike, it would be Team Cobra going up against 3MB, and of course 3MB went over because they're trying to push this tandem, I guess, as the next Freebird team, if you will. Anyway, we get into the pay-per-view itself, and like I said, it starts off with a bonus Survivor Series match. I'm not lying, folks. It actually starts off with a bonus Survivor Series match. And they actually announced it. That's how Justin Roberts, I should say, Justin Roberts announces it. He says, first match, the following match is a bonus Survivor Series match. So yeah, they kind of announced it that way. Anyway, on one side you had Tenzai, the Primetime Players, and Epico and Primo with Rosa Mendes against a team of Brodus Clay, International Airstrike, Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, and Rey Mysterio, and the team of Mysterio and Sin Cara. And I have to say, for a bonus match, it actually was pretty entertaining. It was actually pretty good. The way the order of elimination was is you got rid of the two big men in Tensai and Clay. Clay was the first eliminated by Tensai, courtesy of his backward splash. And then you had Justin Gabriel, who I think it was Chase Oliver saying that you have Tensai eliminating Clay with his finishers, but yet with this same finish, with this backward splash, but yet Gabriel can kick out of it. But anyway, Gabriel is able to get out of the way of another attempt at that splash and roll up Tensai with a grounded crucifix to eliminate him. And then after that, we have Tyson Kidd eliminating Titus O'Neil. So basically you got the three big men out. And then you had Epico submit, thanks to Tyson Kidd, to the sharpshooter, which ironically was people, that entire arena popped for, that entire field house in Indianapolis popped for when he did that, because it basically, as JBL pointed out, it had been 15 years to the day, or to the event, where the screw job occurred. So yeah. Basically you had Tyson Kidd using the sharpshooter to eliminate Epico. And then you had Primo go out, I think, courtesy of, I don't know who it was, I think it was Mysterio. They got rid of Primo. And then you had Darren Young basically take the finisher from everybody, or the double team finishers from both International Airstrike and Mysterio and Sin Cara. First you had Mysterio hit the 619, then you had Sin Cara hit the Senton, the Swanton, then you had Justin Gabriel hit a moonsault, he tags in Tyson, Tyson hits a slingshot elbow, tags in Mysterio, Mysterio gets the win with the drop the dime. The drop a dime splash, if you will. Then the following match after that occurred was Kaitlyn and Eve for the Divas title. So for anybody that's a judge of the Divas division and feels that it always sometimes gets top billing almost under the main event or before the WWE or World title matches, this was actually the second match on the card. Now, despite how you feel about the Divas division, at least they're trying to give it some depth. They're trying to give it some storyline. Someone at least is trying to. And basically what happened is you had Aksana again trying to attack Kaitlyn in the back, just like she did 2 months ago at Night of Champions, but Kaitlyn's able to fight it off, take the wig off of Aksana. Then Eve tries to come up and say, I hope you don't get hurt. Kaitlyn basically pushes her down, holds the wig in her face, basically saying, almost mocking her, saying, I hope you don't get hurt. So anyway, we have the match. So anyway, after that, we have the match. And what really strikes me, you know, a lot of people accuse WWE of stealing the AJ storyline from TNA. I think they're doing, you know, as much as I'm a WWE fan, I think they're doing more than just that. Because, is it me? Is it me, folks? Because, you know, it's got to be me. It's got to be me because, am I the only one that noticed last night and been noticing for the past week or so that Eve's been doing this? And I'm thinking, if that's not ripping off Madison Rayne's gimmick in TNA, I don't know what is. Because Madison Rayne, whether you like her, whether you're a fan of Madison or not, or whether you're somebody like Jeff Shiegel that goes, Madison, whether you're somebody like Jeff Shiegel that goes, Madison Rayne, kind of deal, you can't take away from the fact that WWE basically stole that gimmick, or at least is doing their own version of that gimmick. And then you're having JBL saying she's like their Princess Kate. I mean, if that's not a shot towards TNA, I don't know what is. I mean, what's next? Eve's going to come out with a sash and a crown? I mean, that would definitely complete the ripoff. But anyway, getting back to the match. Eve and Kaitlyn had a decent and not pretty, I will say that, a decent, rough Divas match which Kaitlyn dominated most of it. Let's face it, she dominated, whether you like it or not. Basically what happened though is Eve was able to use her veteran instincts, if you will, and pull the rug or the apron out from under Kaitlyn's feet, get her back in the ring, and then hit her finisher to retain the title, and act like, oh my god, I won? Oh, such a great moment. Acting like she's in a damn pageant. And again, if that doesn't spell rip-off of TNA's Madison Rayne, I don't know what does. And I'm not going to be surprised if Madison Rayne comes out on TNA television, Impact or Explosion or whatever, and takes a shot at that. I won't be surprised. But anyway, getting into the matches after that, we had the United States Championship match between Antonio Cesaro and the challenger who defended against R-Truth. Now, I will admit this could have been a match they could have done on Raw or SmackDown, but again, WWE has to even things out. So what do? They put the match on the pay-per-view. I thought it was alright. Could have done better if it was shown on SmackDown or Raw, or even hell, main event, if you will. But Antonio does go over R-Truth to retain the championship. Now, some people might say Antonio, whether you like his gimmick or not, he needed this win, especially at a Big Four pay-per-view to try to establish himself. Now, I have to agree, he needed a win at a Big Four pay-per-view, but R-Truth, who they're trying to build as a face, as a credible face, I think could have stepped aside and allowed someone of a more known status, if you will, kind of take the job to Antonio. But hey, that's WWE logic for you. Then after that, we had the world title match after that. And there's a lot of people that have said that this match didn't live up to the one at Hell in a Cell. I will admit, from what I've heard and seen through some clips, it didn't. But it was kind of like right behind it. Let's just face it, it was right behind it. But the reason this match probably didn't live up to that expectation is because they needed Big Show to look like a dominant world champion that gets basically so dominant that he leaves himself open to attack. That he may be dominant in everything, but when the opportunity presents itself for someone like Sheamus, that the challenger will always capitalize. Basically, the storyline for most of this match was to show how dominant Big Show can be when he's a champion, but that he's not invincible, and that Big Show will be the kind of champion that will do whatever it takes to retain, even if it means gets disqualified. And here's the thing. That's exactly what happened. Big Show got disqualified when he pulled the referee Scott Armstrong in front of him to take the Brogue Kick from Sheamus. Sheamus basically was checking on the other officials, and referees came out. That distracted Sheamus long enough to turn around and get knocked out by the Big Show. Now, first you had a pinfall, and then you had another by one referee, and then you had another ref come out and say, no, that's not, you can't do that. You got to disqualify this guy for what he did, and that's what they did. Big Show thought he won, but then it got reversed, and he was disqualified. This basically led to a brawl outside. Basically, Sheamus having enough time to get a chair and basically whack the living shit out of the Big Show all over his body with that chair. Big Show, and basically have Big Show pleading, please stop, please stop, please stop. Yeah, and that's what Sheamus does. He stops hitting him with the chair, but basically seals the deal, if you will, with a Brogue Kick to the head. And then you hear a lot of fans after that chanting as Sheamus is walking out, and you see Big Show kind of walking, crawling on the floor, trying to get back up. You're hearing a lot of the fans in there saying, we want Ziggler, we want Ziggler. So it kind of tells you that they see that the fans, they see these opportunities that WWE is not capitalizing on for superstars like Ziggler, and they're not letting it happen. And I think it was kind of like what the Off the Rope show said. They kind of cut to commercial when fans started to chant that. I will be back with part 2 of this review because, like I say, I have a 15-minute time limit due to certain reasons. And I'll be back in a little bit.